Well, we're coming back into the sounds of Mr. Shaq. It's Calypso History Month, and just in case you're wondering. We're switching things up a bit. We're sitting on the couch for this segment. It's going to be a bit of a lively, softer type of interview. I'm joined by Dr. Denise Tsoiaftt-Angus, the Secretary of Community Development and Culture in the THA. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
Welcome to the set of GMTT. We're talking Tobago designers in Japan. What can we expect? What is happening here?
Well, Tobago, they would have taken an initiative to take our designers from the runway experience into the commercialized sector of a buyer's market. And we looked at Tokyo at that market for fashion. Tokyo is well known for its fashion, and it's one of the largest international markets that we have in terms of a buyer's market. And so our designers, 4 designers and 6 product lines would have been taken to Tokyo just a few weeks ago. And what was interesting is the warm feedback that we got for the product line. We took accessories in terms of earrings, necklaces, handbags, slippers, and also clothing. And they really got a great response. By the end of the show, a couple of the pieces were purchased from persons wanting to place them in boutiques to try them out, and they've already started receiving some orders for more. But what was perhaps more helpful is the fact that now that they have started to receive requests and feedback from those requests, that the designers also met the a production company, manufacturing company, where they would have sent their samples to, and as soon as they receive those samples in return and they are satisfied with the work, then they also have a production company out there who can produce in the quantities that they expect to have requests for.
Okay, what has been the investment in the fashion industry in Tobago?
We make a significant investment every year. We do a lot of training programs in garment construction, and this past year we would have added design, fashion design. We invest in supporting the various persons or companies that put together fashion shows in Tobago. We have 2 large ones that occur every year, so we do invest in that. And we also invest in designers who would have traveled to take part in other fashion shows throughout the region and even as far as New York. But I think what is different about this is that we are focusing on the buyers, the commercializing of the industry, and not just, you walk the runway, that's a nice piece, and there's no predictability coming off the runway. So I think we felt that this is now a sort of business model that we expect to bring us more predictability in really opening up the industry, taking us from runway into commerce, and and therefore being a more significant and perhaps a more measurable contributor to the gross domestic product.
Okay, there's been a good response to TT's showing in Tokyo. We have a vox pop with some of the investors, some of those who were at the show in Tokyo, and this is what they had to say about Tobago's contributions.
My name is Massimo Cipolloni. I come from Italy, Milan. First of all, it's a very, very unique opportunity for me to see a representation of Trinidad and Tobago. I have been working in this field for many years, and unfortunately I haven't seen yet so many participations of Trinidad and Tobago, but I'm very glad to see it here in Tokyo. I would really like to congratulate you with what you have done, because the accessories are very, very, very beautiful. Particularly, I like the leather jewels. They're very interesting. The colors of the Caribbeans are here in Tokyo, and so I'm very glad to see. It's extremely interesting for me.
And especially the leather bag. And all the things here is so amazing. I'm so impressed and inspired from professional design, especially from Trinidad Tobago. Yeah.
いやすごい最高に素晴らしいし、ぜひ日本にまだないから、ぜひちょっと扱ってみたいなと思います。
She was saying that she likes the designs and the colors, and there's nothing like that here in Japan.
Okay, those were some of the comments that came out of there. You're talking about developing the fashion, and so what is the average age of the persons that you took to Tokyo that would have participated in that? Okay, maybe not the average age, but was it a mix of youth and experience?
I would think that we ranged from about 20s up into 50. So I still consider that a pretty young age.
I'll agree with you. I'm in between that, so I'll agree with you on that one. In everything that we do, we talk about youth and youth involvement and empowering the youth. This is a positive step, obviously. What happens next as succession planning, if you want to call it that way, for the youth? And you're right on target, because you can't go from Tobago to Tokyo and not talk about Tokyo back to Tobago. And we felt that it was important to follow it up with an international buyers meeting that we will be having on the 24th of this month. They have about 12 to 15 buyers who will be coming to Tobago to see additional designers, and we not only included Tobago designers at this time, we also have invited some Trinidad designers to come to Tobago and to have the opportunity to showcase their product line and hopefully get some requests out of that. Additionally, we don't just want to know that product lines are being manufactured outside of Tobago. So coming from the Division of Community Development and Culture, I would like to see us put on more programs in preparing the technical persons who can assist the designers with now creating larger product lines. I think that part is totally untapped, and given that the demand that we will be having now, I think it will be a stimulus to have persons interested in going into those areas. So we intend to put more emphasis on training and developing sampling and product lines and the expertise to support the designers who will be now getting larger orders. Okay, It falls in line with what I'm about to ask next. The budget was just read, Tobago's allocation. On Monday we spoke to Dr. Vaness James, and he was saying that there was not enough put into culture in Tobago. How do you respond to that? And you said you want to invest, but in what areas exactly are you going to look to do that?
Well, I think Tobago is a bit unique where the budget is concerned. We've had our budgetary allocations, but we do go back to debate the budget after we have a caucus and we decide on our priority areas, and we all agree around the table. The money is pooled and we determine where we're going to reallocate the funding. So I'm certainly going to advocate for a lot of training programs. I believe that we have to invest in the development of our human capacity, and not just in our expected areas like medicine, lawyer, engineer, but some of the creative industries that I think is totally untapped, but provides for us a wealth of opportunity to contribute to the diversification of the economy. So we have done well in terms of developing our indigenous culture. We are stepping out into by January, if not before, I'm hoping before, that we will be launching the Tobago Indigenous and Traditional Arts Academy. And that is meant to, again, focus on those non-traditional areas in the arts and the creative industry, and ensuring that we have persons who are certified in the different areas, because in the past we didn't have persons who are certified in the creative industries. And I think to some extent people feel that because they've not been certified, it's not really acceptable
or out there.
And so we are looking at finding ways to certify them and ensure that they feel good about what they do and know that they can be significant producers. I always say that a lot of Benny Ball and sugar cake sent many persons to school to become doctors and lawyers, and therefore we have to know that it is, unacceptable and certainly a critical part of our existence to go back into those areas and ensure that we can continue to produce, especially now where I know that the oil and gas prices may go up, but I think it's a warning. It can become unpredictable to us, and that we must find ways to adequately diversify to create stability in the island and in the country.
What do you think the island needs exactly? Was it in our final minute? Do you think self-governance will help Tobago to achieve what it wants to, faster, or the dependence?
Absolutely. And self-governance, not just from a perspective of a legal or legislative reform. That is absolutely necessary. But self-governance led by the determination of every individual in the Tobago sphere to want to do something for themselves that would then contribute to the overall self-determination of the island and the democratic self-governance that we seek. And I think it is important for all of us to discover ourselves, discover our potential, and seek our purpose in this life. And in the division and in the Tobago House of Assembly, that is what we do. We put the programs and we put the opportunities there to facilitate Tobagonians to develop to their fullest potential.
Okay.
That is what we will continue to do.
Dr. Denise Tsoiaftt-Angus, thank you very much. We'll have to leave it there. It's been a pleasure having you here, and best wishes in the future with pushing Tobago designers, not only in Japan, but throughout the rest of the world.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be back on Good Morning Trinidad and Tobago after these messages.